Hey friends, it's TBR game day, and I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite videos to make every single month, and I know you guys really enjoy it too. If you are unfamiliar with my TBR game, it's super simple. I have a deck of cards with a bunch of characters from my favorite ever books on them, and each of those characters represents a TBR prompt, essentially. I draw any number of cards based on how many books I want to read the following month, follow the TBR prompts, and chaos ensues. That's the basic gist of the game. If you want to see in more depth my explanation of it and how it is played, go ahead and check out the first ever TBR game that I filmed for this channel, and you can go check that out. And there's also a playlist for the TBR games down in the description box below if you want to watch the ones I've already done. With that out of the way, guys, we are going to talk about our February 2026 TBR. I have to be so careful when I'm saying that right now because I keep wanting to say 2025. We're getting there. We're doing a great job. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is pick a location card. This is the only other set of cards that I have besides my main deck, and each of these is a location that gives a kind of effect that hovers over the entire month's TBR. We're going to shuffle these, and I'm not going to look at them. And I am going to pick this one right here. The Room of Requirement. Independent Scholar. At the end of the round, you may replace up to 2 TBR books with mood reads. Okay, alright, so the deck really was like, I got you this month. It's gonna be okay. That's an amazing card. I haven't drawn that location card yet, and that one makes me so happy because it's kind of a get out of jail free card, let's be real, because if I draw something that I don't, not that I don't want to read because I want to read all of my books, but something that I'm just not feeling this month, this one gives me a ton of wiggle room to get books in that I need to read or that I really want to read for February. So that is a fabulous location card to start off our round. Now, we are going to draw 6 cards for February, which is ambitious, and I might live to regret that decision. However, as I dump them all the floor, every time, guys, I almost dump these cards all over the floor every time. Shuffling them sideways is so much harder than shuffling them the normal way. Anyways, 6 books, 6 cards, and I'm really excited about that because I have some smaller books that I'd like to get to in February. Good grief. The snowplow is going past our house over and over and over again, and I didn't think it was that bad, but apparently. Anyways, I know that a lot of you out there are like, Tori, you don't need to shuffle the cards in between every pick. You can just shuffle it once and then draw your 6 cards. I know that. It's not as fun. I like shuffling. It's very therapeutic, and I could just sit here and shuffle for 20 minutes and I would be perfectly content, but I know that you wouldn't. So I will stop terrorizing you now and I will draw my card, but just know that I will be shuffling them in between every draw because I want to. Anyways, I love you guys. First card is gonna be this one right here. Coltane from Deadhouse Gates by Stephen Erickson in the Malazan Book The Fallen, one of my favorite characters of all time. Amazing. His effect: if drawn with the Disruptor card, negate that card's effect and return it to the deck. Draw a new character card. Now his official effect is to draw a continue a series card. So I'm going to be continuing a series with Coltane, but this is really cool because that means if I draw one of those pesky disruptors, antagonists from one of these books, he will negate their effect. This is just being set up to be way too nice of a TBR month, and I'm starting to get suspicious because that's the type of person I am. I don't know if I'm the only one who, like, when good things happen, I start to immediately side-eye the universe. Like, okay, but what's the catch? I need to get better about that. Alright guys, so this is my continuing a series TBR vessel. And the vessels are all a little out of date. I need to sit down and do the massive job of updating them all and making sure that all of the books on my shelves are actually in all of these jars. But that's okay, because these are a lot of series that I have been working on for a while and need to continue. So this one, Rhyria. The Rhyria series by Michael J. Sullivan. Now, I have Rhyria as a kind of umbrella term, because I know there's multiple series within that world. However, I do have book 1 in the Rhyuria Chronicles, which is the prequel series to the Rhyuria Revelations fantasy series. Am I right? Let me grab that real quick. So honestly, I'm really psyched about this book. This is technically starting a new series because, like I said, this is the prequel series to the Rhyuria Revelations, which I have read. But it's a duo of an assassin and a warrior, Royce and Hadrian, and they are just the most delightful bromance. I love those two characters, and I really enjoyed the Rhyuria Revelations, and it's been a long time since I've read them. But this one has been on my shelves for quite a while, and it's not going to be a tough read, I don't think. So I'm super looking forward to some good old solid classic bromance fantasy. And I'm going to put my Coltane card in there, and that will be TBR pick number 1. All right, back to shuffling. I know I'm driving some of you guys nuts. I appreciate you being here. Just let me do this, okay? All right, second card is Father Chains from the Gentleman Bastard series. Draw a kitchen sink read. And the secondary ability is that I can replace this card's effect with the following. Draw from the character deck until you draw a misfit character and enact their ability. Then shuffle Father Chains back into the deck. Okay, so I have 2 options here, guys. For those of you that are super confused right now, my kitchen sink TBR jar is full of all of my non-science fiction and fantasy reads. It could be literally anything. I could pick a new character with this. And I have to decide before I draw the kitchen sink read, because otherwise that's not really fair. I don't know. What do I want to do, guys? I do need Father Chains to complete my Gentleman Bastard character collection, so what to do? You know what? We're gonna go with it, because I can switch out any 2 books at the end of the round because of my room of requirement opportunity, which is great. So I'm going to draw a kitchen sink read, and who knows what it could be. This is terrifying, y'all. So kitchen sink jar is no joke. That is a fantasy book. You guys, I was drawing from the wrong jar. I was drawing from the science fiction fantasy jar by accident because I hadn't gotten my kitchen sink read. So I pulled it out and I was like, wait a second, that's a fantasy book. It's because I was drawing from the wrong jar. This is the correct jar, which you can tell because it has a lot more books in it. Let's try that again. All right, an actual kitchen sink read this time. This is so stressful, you guys. This jar scares me so much because it could be literally anything. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Yes! Okay, that's really exciting because that is on my priority reads for 2026 list, and I have been thinking constantly about that book and wanting to pick it up. So I'm gonna grab it, and I am so excited that that came up. So I'm very excited to read this, you guys. This is a classic. It was written in 1938, and it follows the story of Rebecca, a beautiful young bride of a man she barely knows. And I have heard nothing but amazing feedback about this book, and I'm so incredibly psyched. So Father Chains really came through for us with this kitchen sink pull, because what are the odds that one of my 26 books to read in 2026 just happened to be the thing that I pull? I don't know, you guys. This TBR game so far is scaring me a little bit with how lovely it's been. We're back to the deck. We've got two great pulls for our TBR already. I do need a couple cards that are gonna let me choose books because I have some buddy reads coming up in February that I need to make sure are on this list. So we'll see. We need to get somebody coming through that's gonna help us. And I mean, we have the room of requirement too, so it could be worse. We have The Artful Dodger. Read a standalone book. Secondary effect. At the end of the round, replace one TBR book drawn from another character card's effect with a read drawn from a jar of your choosing. Okay, so when people in the comments are like, this is kind of complicated, I get it. This is getting a little complicated. So I now have Room of Requirement, but I also now have the Artful Dodgers effect to do, where I have to replace one TBR book with something drawn from a jar, which is a little terrifying. None of the 3 books that I have to get on my TBR are standalones. Okay. Just give me a second. All right, guys, I think I have a good pick for this. So The Thousand Cranes by Yasunari Kawabata. This is a book that I've had on my TBRs the last couple of months, haven't been able to get to it. And as you can see, it's a tiny little translated book about a young woman in ancient Japan who goes and has tea with, I think, a woman from a rival family. And I'm just really, really excited to read this. It is also an annotated copy. Whoever owned it before me made some notes and got very serious about some of their notes. There are some like really heavily underlined things. So I'm very, very excited to check this one out and read it. And I was really sad when I wasn't able to get to it the last couple of TBR rounds when I drew it. So The Thousand Cranes by Yasunari Kawabata is going to go once again on the TBR. Let's see if I can actually get it done in February. This is the point of the TBR game where I'm starting to feel like 6 books is a lot. It's a lot, you guys. Especially looking at the 3 books I need to get on this list, or either need or really want to get on this list. Oh boy, it's gonna get a little dicey here. I also have, I'm still going to have all of the changes to the TBR at the very end, so that'll shift things up a bit. But we now have Tattersail from the Bridge Burners collection from the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Effect is to read a fantasy book by a female author. Yes! All right, let's freaking go. We are going to be reading Black Sun Rising. This is the perfect prompt. Thank you, Tattersail. Because we're going to be reading Black Sun Rising by C.S. Friedman, who is a female author. And this is a older fantasy trilogy called the Coldfire Trilogy, and I have been so excited to read this trilogy. I'm going to be reading this as a read-along with my good friends John from Talking Story, and also Joanna from Joanna Reads, and also Anitha from Anitha Gade, and we're going to be discussing book 1 sometime after we all read it, and I'm very excited for that. So if you are interested at all in reading along with us, please go ahead, grab your copy, and stay tuned because it's going to be a great chat, and I'm really excited to check out this trilogy. So this was one of the books that I had to get on my TBR for February because I will be reading this either way, and I'm super excited about it. Hey guys, so I want to take a super quick break before we go back to the regularly scheduled programming, just to say a huge, massive thank you to my wonderful, amazing patrons. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for supporting what I do here on the channel and my work as a writer. For those of you that don't know, down in the description box below, there are a ton of links to all of my social media accounts. Please feel free to follow me and catch up on any of those. And there's also a link to my website where there's a whole bunch of information about my fantasy books if you want to check those out. You guys are awesome. Thank you. If you enjoy my content, like and subscribe, and stick around on my little corner of the internet. All right, that worked out perfectly. Again, we're not, you know what? We're letting go of suspicion, you guys. We're letting it go. We are just going to accept the good things that come our way. And we're going to pick our next one. This is book number 4, book number 5. This is book number 5? I can count, you guys. Leave me alone. All right. Make Tar from the No Peak clan from Greenbone Saga. The effect is to draw a Kindle read. Okay. Well, I have a lot of Kindle reads. The problem with this is I have so many physical books that I need to read in February. Unless this one is like absolutely I can't say no to it, it's probably going to get switched out just because I have to get some of these other books read. Whatever this is, it's going to be a book I want to read, and that's going to be the hard part. It's so frustrating. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. Okay, I did not see that one coming. Okay. All right, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, so that's probably not happening. I'm so sorry to all of you Martin fans out there, but I am not going to throw Knight of the Seven Kingdoms on my TBR for February. So that one's probably going to be moving along. All right, guys, our sixth and final card for the TBR. The problem is there's only one book on this TBR that I really am already planning on taking off. So I'm just kind of bummed that I'm gonna have to pull one of these other things off. We have Nobby Knobs from the City Watch collection from Terry Pratchett's City Watch subseries. The effect is to read a translated book. Crap, I should have saved 1,000 Cranes for this. All right, guys, I think what I'm gonna pick is The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arakawa. This is a book by an author that was on my top 10 reads of 2025 list with the Traveling Cat Chronicles, and I purchased this recently because I knew I wanted to read more of Hiro Arakawa's work. I will say that I don't know that it's gonna stay on the TBR, but we're gonna put it in as a placeholder for now. All right, guys, so before we make all the TBR changes, here's what we have so far. We have The Crown Tower by Michael J. Sullivan. We have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. We have Yasunari Kawabata's 1,000 Cranes. We have Black Sun Rising by C.S. Friedman. And we have The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arakawa. And then finally, we have A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to take the Knight of Seven Kingdoms and we are going to use the Artful Dodgers effect that we have to do, and we are going to draw from a different jar of our choosing. Super sorry, because I do actually legitimately want to read Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I have actually read all of A Song of Ice and Fire, and I've seen all of the seasons of the show, so I am actually really looking forward to reading Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, especially since I have hope that I might enjoy it more than Song of Ice and Fire. For those of you that have read both, let me know down in the comments if the tone is very similar, or if it's a lot of the similar tone as Game of Thrones. I don't think it is based on what I've heard. All right, so we're just gonna dip into the SFF jar for Artful Dodgers little swerve. And I'm just gonna pick one, and then we're gonna probably switch it out for something with Room of Requirement because I can, and it's my show. Sporting Chance, which is book 2 of the Serrano Legacy by Elizabeth Moon. It's a sci-fi series that I read the first book of last year with Hunting Party, loved it, and I actually really want to read this. That's frustrating. No, guys, I have 2 books that I really need to get into this TBR. So we are going to use our Room of Requirement, and I can replace up to 2 books, which I am going to need to do, unfortunately. So the first one that we're going to do, we'll still do a sci-fi. We will still honor Elizabeth Moon's Sporting Chance with another sci-fi pick, because this is a book that is, again, on my priority reads for this year. I have been badgered about this book specifically, almost more than any other book that I have on my shelves, that everyone is convinced I am going to absolutely love. That is Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky. We are putting it on the TBR. It is happening in February. This might be my first read of the month, if I can manage it, just because I want to read it so incredibly badly. So I'm going to put Make Tar, even though this is not a Kindle read, because of the effects of the other cards. This is now the book that I will read to earn Make Tar's character card, and I'm going to add that to our stack. Now, the other book that I'm going to switch out is going to be The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arakawa. And again, I want to read all of these books. I will be reading all of these books. But there is another book that I need to put on the TBR for February that isn't yet. So we are going to give this place to my patron pick for February 2026, which is Sea of Souls by N.G. Scrimgeour. This book, you guys, is the first book in a trilogy, and it is a Irish mythological fantasy that has Selkies in it. I'm so excited. I am so excited to read this. This was another priority read for me in 2026, and I was so pumped when my patrons chose it for our read-along for this next month. And you guys, like, the naked hardcover of this book, can we just appreciate how beautiful this is? There's some absolutely stunning artwork in here, and I'm just so excited to read a book that is different than a lot of the normal fantasy that I pick up. Absolutely gorgeous. Very excited. I've heard nothing but good things about this so far. So I'm really psyched to read this and check it out. So we are going to put Nobby Knobs in as that book's character card. He got switched around from Hiro Arakawa. But I'm very excited about this, and now our TBR is officially complete. All right, so here is February's TBR of 6 books, which is a little ambitious, especially since February is a slightly shorter month than everybody else. But hey, I am not trying to finish a novella in February, and I want to take a little bit of time to celebrate that by reading some books I've been really excited about. So we're going to do it. We've got Sea of Souls by N.C. Scrimger. We have Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky. We have Black Sun Rising by C.S. Friedman. We have Thousand Cranes by Yasunari Kawabata. We have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And we have The Crown Tower by Michael J. Sullivan. And honestly, you guys, this just looks like an absolutely rocking TBR to me. Now, obviously, I will also be continuing my read of War and Peace through the month of February, but I do not plan on finishing that in February, so it's just kind of there as a, I'm going to read more of this in February, because we are taking our time. Here, officially, is our TBR for February. Let me know down in the comments if there are any books that you are excited to read next month. If you are a mood reader, love that for you. Let me know which of these books you are most excited for me to read, because I can tell you I am jazzed about this lineup for February. It's going to be a fantastic reading month. I can smell the 5 stars from here, you guys. I have been on the hunt for some really powerful, solid 5-star reads, and I think February is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty fabulous. So anyways, that's our TBR. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and doing these crazy TBR games. We never know what's going to happen next, and I kind of love that about it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope you are reading some 5-star reads, and I will see you in the next video.